What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. As you can tell a little bit, I'm a little under the weather. I think my nose is like getting clogged up. But episode 259. Appreciate you all, of course. And let's get into the bullshit. But before we get into that, I was going to review two albums, the 21 Savage and Kevin Gates album. I'm not going to do it on this episode. I know, I apologize. I'll do it on the next one. There's just too much stuff going on in the news to like pack everything into one episode. And I don't know. I need your guys' kind of opinion and take on this. I don't like to go over the 1 hour mark on like these podcast episodes. I like to stay within an hour, maybe if I have to, an hour and 30 minutes. But other than that, an hour for me is like enough to get the proper type of commentary on the news and everything. Like I think if I overdo, when I usually get past the hour, it's a little too much, I think, in my opinion. I don't know. If you guys want to hear more, obviously I'll do more. But if I were to include the album reviews and then all the news that's going on, it would be well over an hour. So let's get into the bullshit immediately. Benzino did a Drake move. So if you guys remember, Drake, when he was beefing with Meek Mill, he dropped 2 diss tracks back to back. That's why the second diss track is titled Back to Back. Back to back. Yeah, so he dropped Charged Up back to back. Benzino decided to drop 2 tracks. The one that I reviewed in the last episode, Vulturous or whatever it's called. And then the second one is called Rap Elvis. Yes, Rap Elvis. This is nothing new from Benzino. If you've ever followed the Benzino beef, like I said, you can watch my Eminem versus Benzino, Who Really Won video. If you've ever followed the beef, Benzino's take on Eminem is basically, he's a white guy, taken from our culture, which, it's a race thing with him, unfortunately. He brings up that, Elvis basically took all the shine and props and respect for rock and roll. And, back then it was easier to do that. It was easier to, because there wasn't much media and, obviously way more racism back then. And it would be easier to switch the whole narrative of what culture is what. Now in today's time, I don't think that would ever happen. And Eminem's never shown signs or intention to ever do that. He's given props to everyone that came before him. Loves the newer artists as well, shows love to them, has put on a lot of artists, which we'll talk about on this track. He actually mentions artists that Eminem has failed to put on. And, so I never got the vibes of Eminem, him being, Elvis. Elvis pretty much stole what was black culture at the time with rock and roll, and, it kind of got lost. So, yeah, let's go over the bars, because I'm going to give you guys my opinion on the track after, but it's surprised me. Let's just say that. So let's start with the verse. Rock and roll was a black thing until Elvis came and made it different. That's self-explanatory. You can't self-sustain. You too selfish. Wait and listen. You keep saying my name. You put yourself in this position. The funny part about this is Benzino keeps mentioning him in interviews, because Eminem would have never responded had he not kept mentioning him in interviews. This is what happens when the Celtics play the Pistons, which I enjoy this line because I'm a basketball fan. And, of course, the Boston Celtics, Benzino's from Boston. Boston Celtics are a way better, NBA organization or team than Detroit Pistons are. Obviously, with Boston Celtics have the second most championships. I think they're tied with the Lakers. I could be wrong on that. Lakers might have one more championships than them, but it's Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics as having the most championships in the NBA. So he's saying basically, I'm way ahead of you. This is the Boston Celtics versus Detroit Pistons. And if you guys haven't been keeping track of the NBA season this year, the Detroit Pistons have only won like 5 games and lost like 40. So they're doing horrible right now. Continuing on, he says, I was minding my business. He wasn't making any type of noise these days. So a choice was made. Clout chase Benzino and Coi Leray. You still in your annoying phase. Hey, what you call it when a man stands, that's a stand. Help me coin the phrase. That's like a pretty cool bar. But then on the track, like with the production, it sounds like he's a little offbeat. I don't know if it's just me, but that's what he sounds a little bit on the track. But like lyrically, I like it. I am the culture. You won't even be around. That's funny, because we obviously know Eminem will, and he's already made his impact. You won't even come outside. We won't even see your town. I swear Vezo said that M don't be showing the city love. Why you ain't got no words for him? He in your city, bruv. That, hey man, that was pretty hard. I do agree that this referenced a video back to 2020 when I swear Vezo said that Eminem was out of touch, comparing that Comparing ways that he showed support to Royce recently, Vezzo revised his comments, though. We were never in touch with Eminem, he explains. In the hood, in our ghettos and shit, back when he first came out, Eminem was like a hero for us, he explained. So we expected to see him and to be able to touch him. And we're like, yeah, we got somebody that got out from Detroit. This is about to go down. He opened the gates up, but it didn't go that way. We always wanted M to play the position that Royce the 5'9" played, but he doesn't, so he's not a hero for us no more, Vezzo admits. Royce the 5'9" is like a president of the Marshall Mathers Foundation. He's from the hood. You're able to see him. He's going out, come out. He fucked with a lot of guys. He reached out. He checked out on us. He pulled up to studios. He pulled up to the club. We can call him, and he's pulling up right now. Royce the real G, man. So, Eminem, here's the thing, though. Eminem is such a big figure. Like, I don't think people realize the status Eminem is at. Like, anywhere he goes would cause a chaos because it's Eminem. Eminem is one of those last artists that have this aura around them. Like, I was talking actually with Tafili, if you guys remember him from the podcast. I was actually talking to him about like celebrities and their aura and how it's missing in today's time because of social media. So the last like era that we got like this amazing aura from artists where like you would be like, wow, like, oh my God, this artist was like in the 2000s. After that, like in the late 2000s, started to fade away because of social media. So Eminem was part of that aura where, if you saw him around, like everybody would crowd and go crazy. Nowadays, yeah, if celebrities walk around, certain ones, they'll get attention, but not like back then. Like back then, like Michael Jackson had whole stores shut down. Madonna, whoever at the time was big. It was different because you would see them a lot less. You would only see them on the TV whenever they did interviews, and that was rare. And so it's different, So I swear Vezzo is just basically saying, listen, Eminem, he ain't tapped in like that. He's just Eminem. He's himself, and he stays out the way. Which I can understand why Eminem does that. But, I mean, he's, Benzino's right in what he's saying about, hey, this guy criticized you and you haven't said shit to him. And that's the interesting thing about Eminem. But I'll get into it a little bit later. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. I wonder why we want to see, just say something, please. Couldn't it be possibly that you ain't really from the streets? I was born and raised in my city. You shouldn't come from me. You should have come from me. I don't know where you're from, but they say misery loves company. So you say misery, same type of shit. I'm probably more Detroit than you because these real guys know me. I was YBI in 86. Yeah, that's my OG. That's Young Boys Inc. That was a drug cartel back in the 80s. Four Corners, Columbia Point. My Young Boys had on Dexter with the boys close to me. So this is some bars that people couldn't, because I'm on Genius right now reading the bars. So they couldn't see what that is. Okay, you found 50 and put 5 Detroit guys. Rest in peace to the best one. The rest of them sound iffy. So let's go down your stable. Gun left your... Okay, so this is where he goes in on Shady Records not really being... He didn't really put on a lot of people, and they didn't succeed. It was only 50 Cent that succeeded. So that's where he goes on that rant. He says this. So let's go down your stable. Gun, Westside Gun left your label. Benny left your label. Benny the Butcher. Conway the Machine left your label. Royce left your label. Joe Budden left your label. Ortiz left your label. Crooked Eye couldn't save you. Yellow Wolf been out here flopping. Yellow Wolf isn't even signed to Eminem anymore. So, and where the hell Cash has been at, though? Only heard from Obi Trice only twice, and not a word from Stat Quo. With all them false lines that you pitched them, Shady Records sound less like a name and more like a description. Stop it. A chain here, a feature there. Besides that, what did he do? Hey, here's... this is the problem with a lot of label owners is, especially if it's an artist that owns a label, it's not like, if Jimmy Iovine doesn't get a successful artist, they don't blame Jimmy Iovine, they blame the artist, or Jimmy Iovine doesn't get dragged into it when it comes to Interscope Records, when he was the CEO. But when you're an artist of a label and you're the face of it, you will get dragged for your artist not succeeding, and your artist will speak about that. So he's saying, Eminem's getting the flack for these artists not succeeding. But how is that on Eminem's shoulders? I've always wondered that. It's like Eminem's put his stamp on everything that he can put his stamp on and push it as much as he could. And, Obi Trice did his thing. Obi Trice had the second best success on Shady Records. D12 as a group, they did pretty good with the albums, but, D12 never really got to do a lot of solo albums, and then, he signed the new Shady 2.0 with Yellow Wolf, Slaughterhouse. That never really materialized into anything. They dropped Welcome to Our House, which I thought was an amazing album. But I mean, I think Eminem spoke on this a few times. Like he can't, he can only push as much as he can push. He can't like force people to enjoy, you know, and 50's talked about this, and Lil Wayne even talked about this. Like, I can help as much as I can help, but if people ain't fucking with you and it just doesn't connect, doesn't hit, and the artists themselves have to do the work as well. So this, though, nobody really mentioned Eminem, so that's why I enjoyed, like, I actually enjoyed this diss track, believe it or not. I don't think it was obviously nothing close to what Eminem can do, but it surprised me. It's way better than what most artists have delivered, believe it or not. And it's so good that people in the comments are clowning Benzino and saying who ghost wrote this because they don't believe Benzino can write this, which I believe he could. But those lines were great. I mean, Cassius, yeah, we never really heard of him. We had him introduced in 2006. He was young. You don't know, bro. Like, that's insane. You're with Eminem, 50, and Banks. And he actually did his thing on that record. Never heard of him again. Obi Trice, you know, had his run. I think Obi Trice situation, this is my opinion, the Obi Trice situation, I think Eminem's influence was too heavy on Obi Trice. Because if you listen to the first album, it has way too much Eminem type of influence. He should have let Obi do his thing, just like how he let 50 do his thing. I think Obi would have been a lot bigger had he just let Obi kind of be Obi. And I would love to get Obi Trice for an interview to talk about that because I think he's in Atlanta. I could be wrong. That might be stat quo. But yeah, I think that's kind of the problem with Obi Trice. But then everybody else, you know, Slaughterhouse, I think he did, you know, he let Slaughterhouse do their thing. A lot of these artists do their thing. They just never really popped off. Continuing on, he says, and why does this cat don't get the type of criticism that Diddy do? Huh? Y'all see what all this corny rap shit do to you. Since you so hip-hop, you should have went to Nipsey's funeral. I don't know what that's got to do anything. Nipsey and Eminem don't really have a connection like that. So if you support 50, then why didn't you go to Smoke's funeral? He's talking about Pop Smoke. City on Diddy, Pop Smoke. Rest in peace to him. It's different, man. With Eminem at that level, that's the thing that Benzino doesn't understand. There's certain artists at a certain level, if they show up, they usually garner all the attention. It's kind of, you know, it's a slippery slope, but that has nothing to do really with Eminem. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, Pop Smoke was only famous for about 4 or 5 months before, like, you know, I'm sure in the future, had he been alive right now in today's time, he would have met Eminem by now. They would have kicked it. Eminem probably would have gave him a feature. Like, Pop Smoke had endless superstar power. Like, that guy was going to go to the next. I'm telling you, that song, City of Angels, I think it's called, or City of God, the Fabio Forum with Alicia Keys and Kanye West, that New York City, please go easy on me tonight. That record, if it was instead of Fabio Forum, Pop Smoke on that record, Pop Smoke would have been a huge superstar. That record would have skyrocketed him to the next level. Like, that's the potential that record had. But Fabio was on it. No disrespect to Fabio, but he's not Pop Smoke. So, and you spitting gumballs, boy. I really throw two at you. Talk about I catch a stray, you pull it and squeeze. I've been shot multiple times. What's a bullet to me? Looking at me, trust my process. I'm here croaking these streets. You missed the season like rookie and Bede. So I guess the lyrics aren't here, but you missed the season like rookie and Bede. You call our women black bitches, then play victim when there's distrust. That's an old audio. We talked about this a long time ago. You keep using art form that we created to diss us. Eminem isn't dissing people that don't talk shit about him, Benzino. Come on, man. I need to get Benzino on this podcast. I'm going to reach out to Benzino and see. I really want to talk to him about these diss tracks. They try to rewrite history. You make Elvis of hip-hop, but in stores, Slim should be on shelves next to Slipknot. He was, by the way. You say you come from battle rap, but why don't you support none of these battle cats? Drake be at the smack events where your ass was at. Room full of hood guys back to back, and it's action packed. And a pop rapper smack dab in the middle. Imagine that. Last time you battled, shit was like 22 years ago. Marv Vaughn. What was the outcome of that matchup? Marv won. I'm talking about the 8 Mile movie. You've been afraid. You ain't no renegade fam, and you duck my clipper blades because you ain't with the fade fam. Me, you, Royce can box 2-on-1. You get the same hands. I'm in the trench with Ray-Bans, so when I lift them, they land. Hey, some bars right there, man. I've been a made man, you little mangy minute made man. And I'm pissing all in your lyrical lemonade stand. Yeah, this is talking about the lyrical lemonade, all is yellow, the Doomsday track. My guy, Young Z, dissed you. Milkbone dissed you. Last Emperor dissed you. Pacewan dissed you. Real lyricist, Biango back at them bid you. Here's the problem, and this is what I was going to say earlier. Here's the problem, is at Eminem's level, if he responds to everybody, people expect Eminem to respond to these individuals as well. No disrespect to these individuals, but I don't even know these guys. Young Z, Milkbone, and Last Emperor, Pace One. I don't know if they're battle rappers. If they are, no disrespect to you guys. I don't really pay attention to battle rap like that much. I know a few battle rappers, but that's it. I haven't really been too much into battle rap. But why would Eminem respond to these people? These people don't have like no ounce of celebrity. I'm pretty sure. I might be talking out of my ass. Regardless, this is the problem when you start responding to people is they expect Benzino's clowning Eminem for not responding to literally everybody that's ever dissed him. And you can't do that. Eminem can't, you and Eminem have a history. That's why Eminem's going at you. You guys have a history. He has a reason to go at you. A lot of these people that diss Eminem doesn't even know them personally. Doesn't even know if they exist or not properly. Who knows? I don't know Eminem's world. But so that's a dumb thing to kind of bring up. But continuing on, because you would rather battle pop stars just to get your issue. You like to pick the low-hanging fruit. Let's get this clear. You diss Elton John, your mom, your ex, Britney Spears. You diss Lana Del Rey, Moby, Iggy. Not Iguodala. Is you shitting me? Will Smith, Nick Cannon, Insane Clown Posse, a retired Joe Budden. When I tell a lie, stop me. I mean, he's not telling no lies here. Machine Gun Kelly, that boy damn near whipped you. Come on, dog. How Vanilla Ice gon' diss you. If you thought your rap bars was hard, you need to grow up. You just plain Eminem. You ain't got no nuts. That was a nice line. It was funny. Because you just plain M&Ms, meaning like those milk chocolate M&Ms and not like the ones with peanuts in them. Nuts. That's pretty funny. This shit about to get really dark on you. Get them dogs on you, bark on you, dog on you. As soon as you log on, you got them locked on you. Like the laws on you, as soon as your thoughts dawned on you, there's a problem on your hands now because I got it solved on you. Don't make me fucking call Benzino dog on you. I ain't really outside and this recluse need to get out more. I run the outdoors and I can vouch for. Anyone that been down, I can account for. And how about your mind? And how about your mind will finally be off my neck with my hands squeezing around yours, mother, you know what? He issues, you have 48 hours to respond. I don't think Eminem's going to respond. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think Eminem I don't know why he did that Doomsday Part 2. Honestly, with that title, I would have like gone at like everybody at that point. If you're going to name it Doomsday, like Doomsday is like something catastrophic. Don't just go at Benzino. Like I would have gone at everybody at that point. Anybody that said anything in the past, like a Kamikaze Type 2 type of track, to just spazzing for the next like 4 minutes. I would have enjoyed that. That would have been really crazy. But this is the thing with responding, if you constantly respond. Eminem likes to punch really low sometimes and just troll. And that's what he's doing, Benzino, because he doesn't take Benzino seriously, even though this track is actually pretty good, guys. I think anybody denying that and saying that it's not that, it's a pretty good diss track. I'm not saying it's nowhere near what Eminem has done to Benzino. Not even close. But out of all the Eminem diss tracks that's ever came out, it's definitely in the top 10. Could even potentially throw top 5. I don't know. I'm just throwing numbers out here. I'm not saying I have to look at all the diss tracks. Obviously, Cannabis whooped his ass quite a few times. I'm not going to lie. Eminem versus Cannabis was lyrically the most entertaining. I like Machine Gun Kelly, Rap Devil. Other than that, I mean, I don't think anybody else that I can come off the top of my head that's dissed him. Honestly, Gucci Mane had a few lines on the Obsessed remix, and Eminem never responded to that. That was pretty good. But this is a pretty, he mentioned some things that, in the last track he mentioned, Proof, which is somebody that nobody's ever really touched on. Like, even though he's, this is what I mean. He's deceased. This is my problem. These people have passed away. This is the Nicki Minaj thing with the Bigfoot talking about Megan Thee Stallion's deceased mother. This is, the same type of situation talking about somebody's deceased. He didn't really disrespect. He didn't disrespect Proof, but he said, why didn't you spin the block for Proof? Which is, I think Eminem wanted to do that at one point. I think he had moments of that, flashes of that. And then he just kind of, went into this drug kind of depression. But I like the track. I thought it was pretty good. Out of 10, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10, which is above average. Average is 5 out of 10. So 6 out of 10 is like, it's good. That's it. It's not great. It's not, legendary. It's not, a classic by any means. But it's a good thing. It's not average. It's good. It's good. 6 out of 10. Not bad. So I enjoyed it. Hopefully, actually, no, I'm not even going to say hopefully Eminem responds. I'm kind of over this. The reason why the Melly Mel thing was interesting is because I never expected that, one, to be a beef, and then two, it was just interesting to hear Melly Mel's response. Like, this is a guy from literally the starting days of hip hop in the late 70s, like early on. So that was interesting because it was new. The Machine Gun Kelly thing was new. This is so fucking old that, dude, I was like 7 years old when they started beefing. Like, he did his thing, but after that, let's just move on from this. I'm kind of over it. So that's my, take on this whole track and my review of it. But continuing on, let's get into some news, more news, none of the bullshit. This time we're going to do some follow-up news on some previous podcasts. And Jam Master Jay, some reports on his trial is finally being updated. And Jam Master Jay's trial finally commenced this week, but prosecutors are now saying that witnesses of the murder may lie out of fear of retaliation. According to CBS News report from Tuesday, January 30th, federal prosecutors filed a late-night notice to the court Monday, warning that some of its witnesses are reluctant to testify and may lie under oath or plead the fifth out of fear of retaliation. 2020, Carl Jordan Jr., Ronald Washington were indicted for the New York City shooting that left 37-year-old legend dead inside Queens recording studio. The ongoing trial will be centered on their defense. Last year, Joe Bryant, 49, became the third person to be charged in the case, though his trial will most likely take place in 2025. All three defendants have pleaded not guilty. So they're getting, because a lot of people are watching this. I saw a lot of people from Queens, a lot of producers, a lot of people that grew up, like Sha Money XL, who, was mentored under Jam Master Jay. He's keeping his eye out on the case. So, it's got a lot of people's attention. So that's why they're fearful. And then the judge came out and said that they're ruling that memorandum of law that rap lyrics will not be admissible during trial. So apparently one of these guys that had a role in murdering Jam Master Jay, he has lyrics in songs. He was a rapper. He had lyrics in songs, and they're not using any of those lyrics. So they're basically going by the New York. I think they passed a new statute or whatever. You can't use rap lyrics in New York. So, that's it. So those are the updates. So we'll keep our eye out if anything else, comes of this. Hopefully we get justice for Jam Master Jay, man. It's been way too long, and, condolences to him and his family. Updates on the Mos Def and Drake situation. Mos Def decided to go on Instagram Live and clarify his comments more after they went viral. If you guys don't remember, a couple episodes back on the podcast, Mos Def basically said that Drake's music doesn't have really substance. It's shopping mall music, so on and so forth. He was basically critiquing Drake for not delivering more meaningful music. So let's play this live clip of him talking more on it and kind of, I'll play the clip for you guys.
Free everything that needs to be free. Drake, if you would like to speak to me directly, you can at any point. I reached out to Chappelle, asked him to reach out to you. I DM'd you. You are a very talented MC. But for me, I require more of myself and others than just talent or charm or charisma, particularly in times of urgent crisis. And what I would like to see in terms of creators or creative people in the world as it relates to our culture is for people to connect with us beyond the jukebox or the dance floor. A fair weather friend can hardly be called a friend at all. The people who party with you, that's cool, but will they show up if you're at the triage?
I agree. And this is not specific to Drake, because I don't want Drake to get the main backlash for this. I do think a lot of hip-hop artists need to have more substance in their music, because that's how you get legendary artists. And here's a perfect example that just recently happened. Tupac. Who was he as an artist? Not only was he a hip-hop artist, he was a great hip-hop artist, but he was philanthropy. He was speaking out. He was always talking about things going wrong in the world, society. He has so many quotes. They got money for war but can't feed the poor. He's got so many lines. He always spoke out against injustices, always had something to say about the wrongdoings of police officers, people, government, corrupt, whatever the case may be. He always spoke out on things. And that's what made him, that's what cemented Tupac in a legendary status, because what happens always is those interviews always get brought up. Those quotes get brought up. That's what's going to happen to Nipsey as time goes on. You guys are going to see. This is why Nipsey's impact. People are like, how are people going this crazy over Nipsey passing away? I remember when he passed away, he got killed. People were like, why is this, where was all his support before? And yeah, when he was alive, he wasn't that big of an artist. He wasn't selling insane units. He wasn't having #1 records. But it was what he was saying in interviews, the message that he had, the message in the music. That's going to live way past Nipsey. And that's the same thing with Tupac. And here is proof. This just recently happened. This is proof. Tupac beats out Jay-Z, Nas, and more as All Eyes on Me reaches a new milestone. Look at this. This is crazy. Tupac's All Eyes on Me just became the first album from 1996 to reach 3 billion streams on Spotify. No other album from 1996 has even reached 2 billion. Think about that. Other albums from 1996, that specific year, every album that's ever dropped in 1996, from hip-hop to pop to whatever, has never reached over 2 billion. Tupac's All Eyes on Me is about to reach 3 billion. The reason why is because of the messages, how he was as a person. He's always going to be relevant for all these years to come on by. People are still forever talking about Tupac because of his messaging, the way, how he was as a person, not just with the music, but outside of the music. And that's the thing with Drake, and I think what Mos Def here, and Yasin Bey, whatever you want to call him, I think what he's talking about here, because that interview where Mos Def was talking about Drake's shopping mall music, that's the clip that went viral. But in the interview, who's talking about what's going on with Palestine and Israel and genocide, mass genocide being committed, Congo, what's going on, mass genocide being committed. There's so much stuff happening in the world where people are getting killed, slaughtered. And these artists with these huge platforms, they decide not to talk about it because they're worried about their brand deals. They're worried about alienating people. This is why Tupac will forever be legendary. This is why Eminem, because we forget Eminem has spoken out on a lot of things as well. Dude, he was against George Bush, Iraq war, all that stuff that was going on. You can hear it all on the Eminem show. You can hear it on Encore, especially Encore. You can hear it on a lot of these projects. Even the album that everybody hated, The Revival. He was still speaking on a lot of issues that were going on, and not only in America but in the world. And that's what made Eminem. That stamps Eminem. A lot of artists that don't like. That's one thing I wish about 50's career. I wish he had more records like that. Like he had records that would touch you, like Mini Man. Like that's something that you could, like records like. But he just never had. He never had those like real, like speaking out on things. He never really did. Spoke out. Even in my country when he went to. I mentioned in my documentary when he went to go perform in Kosovo and Kosovo got their independence. My country, they got their independence. They asked him, you're the first artist to come since our independence. Blah blah blah. He's like, I have nothing to do with that. He's like, I'm just here to perform. Like he stays out of that. Which is like that's one thing about 50's career I wish he would have got a little bit more involved in. But 50's never really been the conscious type of rapper, even though he can go there. But imagine if Drake spoke out on the things happening right now and actually voiced. He has a huge platform. That's what's lacking in a lot of these artists. And he's right, man. Mos Def is right, and it doesn't. I don't want to just for it to fall on Drake because Drake gets a lot of this backlash because he's the biggest artist, but it needs to fall on a lot of these artists, man. Like stop being scared. You guys are multimillionaires. If you lose a couple of brand deals because you're speaking your mind on things, like think about why Muhammad Ali is Muhammad Ali, because he spoke out on a lot of things. He would speak his mind on things. Imagine if LeBron James just said, hey, I'm not playing basketball anymore. What's going on in the world with Israel and Palestine, the genocide happening in Congo, genocide happening and this and that and this. I'm not playing anymore. I'm done. Imagine if he did that. How much shock and like people would be like, whoa, like what's going on? Like, it might inspire other players to stop playing. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference between Muhammad Ali and Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is himself. He doesn't really give a fuck about other people. That's just the reality of it. Now, has he donated to help people? Yeah, I've seen things like that. But in reality, he stays away from that type of stuff. He would never risk his career or his record or anything at the time and his prime to speak out on things. But the question is, should we rely on celebrities to speak on these things? I think if I reach the status of any celebrity that's really big, I would speak out on things because I can't be naive to things that's going on in the world and then just kind of, be like, it is what it is. I got my money. I'm good. My family's good. I can't do that. That's just me personally, but I know there's other people that don't want to get involved because either there's a valid reason. Some people are like not educated on the situation, but you can educate yourself pretty quickly. You know, I educated myself on this Israel and Palestine thing fairly quickly. And I have a friend, you know, who's Palestinian, who's teaching me things, but I started learning even more. And I was like, okay, Israel's this conflict's happened for a while. Like, you know, so I think, yeah, I agree with him, man. I think a lot of artists, hip hop artists, need to be more what the root of hip hop was. What was the root of hip hop? Oppression. You know, minorities getting oppressed. That's how hip hop started. It was rebelling against that, to find a new way, to find a new hope through the music. That's how hip hop basically started. And it's lost that roots. It's lost that a long time ago. And it's unfortunate, man. There's still a couple artists that do that, like Kendrick Lamar has his things and J. Cole, but you know, there's a few that do that I can't off the top of my head remember. But yeah, that's why Tupac's got 3 billion streams on All Eyes on Me and beating everybody else out. 3 billion, mind you. This is in 1996. This album came out and has 3 billion streams. If that doesn't tell you Tupac's forever gonna live on, I don't know what else will, man. So I agree with him on here, man. But I just wanted to talk about it, and hopefully, you know, Drake reach out to him, and maybe this implants a seed in Drake's head. Like, maybe next album, you know, I would. Oh my God, I would. I know I've been telling Drake to take a break, take 3 years off, 5 years off, get away because I'm tired of you. Because I am, honestly, I'm tired of the music. Even though he'd released some good music here and there when he drops albums. But if he came back, let's just say I'm coming back, I'm dropping a new album this summer, right? Not even this summer. That's actually a bad time to drop a conscious, politically aware album. Let's say he drops a conscious album talking about major issues in the world. Because he can do that. He's got talent enough to do that. Drops it in like August or September. Dude, I would be so hyped for that Drake album. I couldn't wait till the day it drops. And I would stream the fuck out of it. Because I just want to hear how Drake would be able to speak on those type of things. That's why I like Kevin Gates so much too, because he speaks on those type of things. You know, so yeah. That's my thoughts on it, and I agree with Mos Def, and yeah, we'll keep our eye out and see if Drake actually takes heed to what he said. Nate Dogg, this was interesting, and it's actually good. I'm happy this is happening. Nate Dogg's estate has finally been settled, with the late legend's widow and children to each get a handsome sum in the final settlement. Court documents obtained by Radar Online reveal that the estate was determined to have a final value of $2.7 million. And the administrator of the estate has been ordered to disperse the funds evenly between Nate's widow, LaToya Calvin, and his 9 children. Although Nate Dogg was originally believed to have only 6 children, the probate judge determined that he was legally the father of 3 more. The administrator of the estate also confirmed that all the Nobody Does It Better singer's debts, including an outstanding IRS bill of $144,000, has been paid off, and no further obligations were necessary to be fulfilled by the survivors. This ruling brings the contentious battle over the late legend's estate to a close. So hopefully this might, with the estate finally getting settled, because that's a lot of the issues of why these artists that pass away can't have music be released. When the estate issues get settled, hopefully there's posthumous Nate Dogg hooks, albums, whatever that we're going to get in the future. That'd be great. I would love that. When Nate Dogg died in 2011, he died intestate, that is without a will, and therefore didn't have provisions in place for the children he had with several different women. What's more is LaToya Calvin, who was the singer's wife at the time of his death, nominated himself as the executor of the estate, and Nate's children nominated herself, sorry. Nate's children have been battling it over court ever since, claiming that Nate Dogg was actually looking to divorce Calvin before she died. Nate's children provided proof of their claims to court, revealing that the rapper filed for divorce just 19 days before his death. However, before the divorce hadn't been finalized, Calvin was legally determined to be Nate's wife, and thus a beneficiary to the estate. So I don't know about those details. What's more, back in October, Nate Dogg's ex-girlfriend, Sharenda Williams, petitioned to the Los Angeles Superior Court to intercede on her behalf so she can get child support for the 17-year-old Jaden, the son she shares with the late singer. Come on, 17 years old. He's got 1 more year of child support. It's over. Man, it's crazy, man. Even when you die, people are foaming out the mouth for money. Foaming out the mouth for money. Man, people are greedy as fuck, man. Greedy as fuck. According to court documents obtained by Radar Online, Williams showed petitions providing $4,385 per month in child support for the child, which were signed by the late Hook King in 2006. 2 years later, Nate Dogg died in 2011. However, the courts ordered that Williams' payments be reduced to $3,000 a month. However, due to what Williams is calling a mistake in the court filing, she's at risk of losing all the child support and wants the court to petition her baby daddy's late estate to come up with the funds. Jaden, however, has been provided for in the final estate ruling. So everybody got money, basically. Everybody got 6-figure payouts, which the kids deserve it. The kids 100%, they should get the money. 9 kids, split it. The wife, I don't know, because if you filed divorce 19 days, I don't know. But they settled it, so hopefully this means that with the estate, because the estate's going to start accumulating money again, obviously, because Nate Dogg's a legend, has done legendary things. So he's going to continue to accumulate money, and hopefully that money gets dispersed properly, because we don't want it to be an easy situation where all this hard work and then somebody takes the money and then the kids never get anything. That's like one of the worst situations, especially when somebody works hard. Like that's unfortunate. So we'll keep our eye on this, man. Hopefully it runs smooth from here, and hopefully we potentially get some posthumous Nate Dogg music. Megan Thee Stallion is facing some backlash for her diss track Hiss, and where she mentions Megan's Law. The parents of Megan, who that law got mentioned for, are not happy that she mentioned that law in her diss track. So let's go over the article. Megan Thee Stallion has been called out by the family of Megan Kanka over the lyric of her latest single, Hiss. The Houston rapper dropped the venomous song on Friday, January 26th, sparking a war of words with Nicki Minaj over an apparent shot at the Young Money hitmaker. This is the lyrics that the family is upset about. These hoes don't be mad at Megan. These hoes mad at Megan's Law. Seemingly, this line was directed at Nicki Minaj's husband, who's a convicted sex offender, Kenneth Petty. Megan's Law is a federal law requiring authorities to make information available to the public regarding registered sex offenders. The law is named after Megan Kanka, who was murdered in 1994 by a sex predator who was legally required to identify himself in the neighborhood at the time. Megan was 7 years old when she was raped and killed by her neighbor Jesse. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name, Timendekis, after he lured her into his house. He was previously convicted of child molestation. Now her father, Richard Kenka, has slammed Megan Thee Stallion for using his daughter's name in her diss song battle with Nicki Minaj. According to TMZ, Richard is fuming over the line, and the fact that she's bringing attention to the law doesn't change his feelings. Richard described the use of his daughter's name on Hiss as highly offensive to both his daughter's memory and her family's pain. The father has yet to listen to the song, but was made aware of it by one of his children and isn't impressed after reading the lyrics. He's also considering taking legal action against Megan, although TMZ speculate this will be an uphill battle given the liberties that artists have when it comes to referencing cultural and historical events in their music. I can kind of see why he's upset, because it's like it's a distasteful way of kind of mentioning the law, because that law is, created in that girl's honor. A 7-year-old that got, brutally, attacked by a man that was supposed to be registered offender. So, but I mean, I don't know. He's a father, man, and that's his daughter. How he feels, nobody should really speak on that. Nobody should have the right to speak on that, because that is his daughter, man. And that law was named after her, and how he feels towards that, nobody can say, nobody can be like, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. Like, I don't know how I would feel if I had a law named after a kid of mine that got, brutally offended by a fucking weirdo guy. And then the law got named after her, and then I hear somebody using a song in a little distasteful way, because these hoes ain't mad at, like the hoes part of these hoes ain't mad at Megan, they're mad at Megan's Law, and then the rest of the lines after that, it's like, yeah, there's two things to it. One, it did bring a lot of attention to the law. Now people know Megan's Law a lot more. I didn't know Megan's Law. I had no idea about it until this. So I brought more attention and awareness to Megan herself as well, and what happened to her. But on the other side, it could be seen as distasteful. It could be used, it's a bad way of using that law to get your point across. Let's just say that. So, I don't think he's going to be able to sue, though, because like TMZ is saying, a lot of artists have freedom when it comes to mentioning cultural moments in history. You can't sue because somebody's mentioning history. It's like suing me right now for mentioning Megan's Law. It's like, it's history. I'm talking about history right now, and it's in a song. It's a creative art form. Yeah, I just found it interesting, and I thought, the father has his right to feel how he wants to feel, in my opinion. I mean, I think we can't criticize him for the way he feels, because that's he's dealt with that. He's gone through that trauma. So he would like for the light of that to be a little bit more in a better light, maybe. I don't know. So yeah, we'll keep our eye out and see if the lawsuit actually comes out of this. But yeah. Kanye West. Yeah, Kanye West has never had a great relationship with paparazzi. So I'm going to play the clip for you guys. Hopefully you guys can hear it, because I think the person that the paparazzi person. It's kind of hard to hear that person, but I'm gonna play the clip for you guys, and I'm gonna talk about this after because I got my own kind of opinion on it.
And Bianca has her free will. Some people are saying you're controlling.
She's TMZ. She's TMZ.
What do you feel like it's okay? I'm a human being. All of this TMZ, this 30 miles on, y'all set celebrities up, all this bullshit. I don't give a fuck what y'all got to do. What y'all gonna do? What y'all got to say? Come at me with that shit, ask me that. You think you can walk up on me like that? But you think because you a white woman, you can walk up on me like that and ask me some dumb ass shit like that? Ask me about my wife, talking about she got free will? Are you crazy? You insane? This is America. You got free will or you work for the devil? You got free will, you work for TMZ Company. I'm a legend. You understand that? I'm here to support Charlie Wilson. You come and ask me some dumbass shit about my wife. That's my wife. You understand? You wasn't asking shit when I couldn't see my kids. When I couldn't, do you have questions? Do you have questions when I wasn't able to see my kids? And that I only get visitation and don't have rights to where they go to school? You got questions for that or you part of the system? You understand what I'm saying? Was that wrong or right?
I'm sorry, Kanye. I just need my phone.
No. Answer the question. I'm supposed to answer your questions. Answer that question. I got your phone now. They gonna arrest me for taking your phone? Arrest me for taking your phone then.
I don't.
You answer the question. You asked me, did my wife have free will? Was that a dumbass, disrespectful question to come ask a grown-ass superhero? I don't know you. What is her name? What is this lady's name?
I'm just a reporter.
No, you're not just a reporter. What's your first and last name? Melanie what? What's your address? What you make a year? I'll pay you double what they paying you.
Woo! Woo!
Now you smiling.
Woo!
Get her contact.
Yes, I will. I will.
That was the weirdest twist of events ever. So basically, TMZ reporter comes up to Kanye, says, "Hey, does your wife Bianca have free will? Because some people think that you're controlling her, and you're basically treating her like a slave." That's basically what she meant. He gets upset by that, grabs her phone, and then checks her and says, "How do you feel comfortable just coming up to somebody and saying some dumb shit like that?" And this is where I agree with Kanye, because I like that Kanye checks that bullshit. And it may seem like to some people crazy, Kanye's losing his mind. No, he checked some bullshit because that is ultimately disrespectful. Super disrespectful. You can't just walk. It doesn't matter if it's a celebrity. I don't give a shit if it's a celebrity or not, man. Celebrities are human beings at the end of the day, too. How are you just going to walk up and assume things about Kanye and what he's doing with his wife? It's like, why would you even have the audacity or even why does that even cross your mind? It's just so disrespectful. And as he's checking her, a police officer comes in, what's going on? And then he basically, in a twist of events, he offers her a job at the end. It's like, hey, what does TMZ pay you? I'll double it. And you can come work for me. And then she starts smiling, and he gives her, he gives the phone back, and she's smiling. And then she doubled down. So she talked about the incident. So the TMZ reporter that got the phone snatched by Kanye said this on TMZ's podcast. She said, "I was alarmed. I was like, whoa, I don't see that one coming because I've interviewed him before and he never talks to me. So I'm thinking I'll just see if he'll talk to me. It's been very well talked about that he won't let Bianca have an Instagram because he's trying to protect her. So I'm saying this is an easy opportunity for you to be like, of course I'm not controlling her. That's all I had going into it." She then said that she only had a brief window of time to chat with a controversial artist before he attended Charlie Wilson's Hollywood Walk of Fame event. And then she stumbled into him with a few people around. Even though their interview went left field, she didn't appear to regret the interaction. Miller also doesn't seem to have a great opinion of Kanye. So that's what she said. "With everything that he's done, people deserve answers to this kind of stuff," she said. "If Bianca's okay with it, that's fine. If she's posting those photos of her and her essentially naked body on her own Instagram because she wants to, because she wants to put that out there, fine. But he's doing it. He has such disrespect for women." So listen, doesn't matter, man. That's their life. Unless you hear reports of Kanye abusing her or doing vile things to her, that's their life. That's nobody's business, guys. That's just the reality situation. And I think a lot of people get too invested into celebrities' lives and their personal lives because it's like, dude, let them do whatever they want, man. As long as they're both consenting, if they want to pee on each other behind the scenes in their whatever bed and they want to poop on each other and they like to, I don't know, do whatever. That's their life, man. That's their privacy. That's one thing that I've always stood by. I don't judge people when they want to do things in their private life, man. If you want to have whatever, do whatever the hell you want to do, man. It's your private life. As long as you're not harming somebody or you're forcing things on people without their consent, that's a whole different story. So the fact that Bianca hasn't said shit, never spoke out, never said anything, it seems like it's good right now. I don't know. Maybe. I could care less. That's the thing. And she is disrespectful for coming up to, him and saying that, man. That's not the cool thing to say at all, especially to, Kanye, who already has to deal with a lot of shit on his own. So, yeah, we'll keep our eye on this to see if Kanye ever follows up with this or anything. TikTok and Universal Music Group. Let's talk about this. So TikTok and Universal Music Group had a deal where, you could use Universal Music Group's artists' music on TikTok, and they each split their profits or whatever they make, so on and so forth. Universal has a deal with YouTube. They have a deal with a lot of these platforms to be able to use their artists' music. But it turns out, as of February 1st, the deal is ended. So no longer on TikTok can Universal Music Group's artists' music be posted on there and used. So let's go over, Universal Music Group, what they said first, and then we'll go over TikTok's response. And then I'm going to talk about, what I think is the fair thing, because as a YouTuber, we got to deal with this bullshit as well. We got to deal with Universal Music Group, especially covering music like I do on podcasts. I got to deal with these copyright bullshit day in and day out. It's a constant thing. So this was very intriguing and interesting to me, so hopefully it's interesting to you guys too. Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Nicki Minaj, and more could see their music removed from TikTok over social media networks dispute with the Universal Music Group. The two companies have failed to agree to a new deal relating to artists' compensation and artificial intelligence, which means the music giant could no longer license their music to the app. The deal is set to expire at midnight Wednesday, January 31st, and terms on a new contract have not yet been agreed on, with UMG saying they will cease to provide music to TikTok after this deadline. So this is what they released. This is what Universal Music Group said, by the way, and it's the funniest thing ever because I know Universal Music Group's history, so this is hilarious because I've dealt with this bullshit since 2007 on YouTube days. This is what they said. Our core mission is simple: to help our artists and songwriters attain their greatest creative and commercial potential, which is why we must call a timeout on TikTok. And then they wrote an open letter. Let's see what this fucking garbage letter says. It's a long-ass letter, so I ain't reading this bullshit. But they're basically, it's a label bullshit narrative of, we're looking out for our artists and we want the best possible outcomes for them. Well, TikTok responded and they completely destroyed him. Like, this is, if I was a big corporation, it's exactly how I would respond, because it makes no fucking sense. And I've made this point to Universal Music Group. I've emailed people at Universal Music Group a long time ago for YouTube. I've dealt with this YouTube copyright bullshit. It's gotten better on YouTube, obviously. Now you can use like 10 seconds of a song, 8 to 10 seconds, and not get copyrighted. Or if the music's in the background on accident, you can get copyright. So a lot of things that you can kind of maneuver through. But it's still bad. Like, you use any fucking song, it's over. They're copyright and it's done. So this is what TikTok responded with, and is the best response I've ever heard relating to this situation, because it's so simple and short and sweet. This is what they said. It is sad and disappointing that Universal Music Group has put their own greed above their interests of their artists and songwriters. Despite Universal's false narrative and rhetoric, the fact is they have chosen to walk away from the powerful support of a platform with well over 1 billion users that serves as a free promotional and discovery vehicle for their talent. TikTok has been able to reach artist-first agreements with every other label and publisher. Clearly, Universal's self-serving actions are not in the best interest of their artists, songwriters, and fans. Thank you, TikTok. A round of applause for TikTok for this response, because first off, Universal does put their own greed above artists. This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying artificial intelligence cannot be used in music, because these fucking labels are gonna look what they did with the DMX thing. They just randomly started putting out Christmas music with DMX that wasn't even real of him. They started these labels are savages. I'm telling you right now. Once these artists pass, they're going to find ways to use artificial intelligence to destroy the artists. Not only their music, their legacy, but so they don't get paid. Like the family of the artists aren't even going to get paid well. The labels are going to steal all the money, which they already do right now with streams. And Snoop Dogg's talking about it. We do all these streams and we get $10,000 over like 1 billion streams. It's like, what the fuck? So, so them saying the greed thing, 100%. And here's the thing: they walked away. Look what they said they walked away from the powerful support of a platform with over 1 billion. Yes, 1 billion users. TikTok have 1 billion. TikTok has over 1 billion users. Look, this is what I argue as well. Free promotional and discovery vehicle for their talent. Free. Like, bro, free promotional and discovery to discover your fucking artist. That's what YouTube content is for. It's the same shit with YouTube. I always made the argument, hey, I'm using these songs. You know how many times I've put people on in documentaries and in videos that I've done? People are like, yo, I never knew about this song. Go check it out. Like, that's what this content does, is puts people on into their music so they end up making money from it regardless. It's like, why are they so greedy? Universal is probably one of the worst groups of music groups ever. They're so fucking greedy. It's ridiculous. And this just proves it. TikTok has been able to reach, first agreements. Yeah. They have Universal self-serving actions are not in the best interest of artists, songwriters, and fans. They're not, because us fans want to enjoy that music as well on the platform. So I hate Universal Music Group. This is just a me for a rant because, I'm tired of these labels, man. I can't wait for the day. I hope this happens one day. And I'm probably getting assassinated for even saying this. I hope this happens one day. I hope these labels crumble and there's no more labels and there's just artists and their team and that's it. No more middlemen. Why do we have labels? We're in 2024 where you can distribute your own music and the only middleman should be these fucking streaming platforms. And there should be no connection to labels. Nothing at all. I'm tired of labels. I'm tired of them controlling shit. I'm tired of them stealing from creatives. I'm tired of them stealing from everybody and nobody's winning off this shit. Like, why doesn't Drake stand up? Weeknd, all these artists signing these fucking Universal Music Group or whoever signed the Universal Music Group. I don't think Weeknd is. I just threw his name in there. I don't know. Whoever signed a Universal, like Drake could stand up to this bullshit and say something. Like I always said this, if Drake went independent, he would have one of the biggest influences as an independent artist and more people would go that route. But yeah, that's the problem with a lot of this bullshit. But yeah, we'll keep our eye on this and see if they actually come to an agreement. Metro Boomin. God bless this guy's soul if he pulls this off. I'm telling you right now, guys, I'm super hyped about this. I hope this happens. If I can get Metro Boomin on the podcast to talk about this, I will make it happen ASAP because I want to know more about this. What am I talking about? Let's go over the article. Metro Boomin has said he wants to unite some of hip-hop's heroes for a dream album inspired by 90s and 2000s rap. I'm in heaven hearing this. Oh my God, Metro Boomin. God bless your soul, because that would be the greatest thing ever. I would enjoy the fuck out of that album. The super producer revealed the idea on X, writing, "It's always been an idea and dream of mine to create a pure and authentic 90s/early 2000s album with all the OGs and some of the new artists mixed in." Oh my God, you read my mind. This is what I've been wanting forever. Metro Boomin, you are a legend. I want to. If you pull this off, and I know you can because you're one of the best producers ever. I'm not even capping because you know what the fuck you're doing. If you pull this off, which you will, I will stream the living fuck out of this album. I will purchase physical copies. I will do giveaways. I will enjoy the hell out of this album. One, it takes me back to the 90s, early 2000s, which is my favorite era in hip-hop. Two, we get a mixture of new and old. Like, what more could you want? So, of course, my favorite rapper, 50 Cent, has been mentioned in this, of course. Fans then began throwing names at Metro, which Metro seemed receptive to. This fan, shout out to this guy, Blake, aka Tech 2000. Shout out to you, man, for being a genius and writing these names. He said a 2000s album with T-Pain, Akon, Jeezy, Gucci, T.I., Kanye, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, Eminem, and Jay-Z. Then you get J. Cole, 21 Savage, Young Nudy, Travis, J.I.D., Future on there. Bro, you do that, you got a classic on your hands. And the Metro Boomin responds with like a gif of somebody writing down stuff on a notepad. I'm telling you, that would be fucking amazing. Imagine an album mixed T-Pain, Akon, Jeezy, Gucci, T.I., Kanye, Wayne, 50, MJ. One album mixed with Cole, 21 Savage, Nudie, Travis, JID, Future, and whoever else in the 2010s and newer, whatever. Like, bro, I would fucking love that. Like, I'm so excited here. I'm gonna see if I can get in contact with Metro Boomin because he's always on social media. So if I can get in contact with him and I can bring him here, I will try to get a heavy influence on this album because I really want to fucking have an input on this because I would love to hear like 50 with a newer, like, I don't know. 21 Savage just recently gave props to 50 in the Shannon Sharp podcast interview that he did. So 21 Savage and 50, man, why hasn't that happened yet? Like, I would love to hear some shit like that. Eminem with Future. Like, who the fuck would I want to hear? That's so unique and different. Like, I would love to hear that, man. You know, so yeah, I think that would be fire, man. I'm just super hyped about this. I just had to mention it because I would love to hear this. You know, Metro Boomin, he's had a hell of a run, you know, and he still is not like he's done with his run, but he is an amazing producer, man. And I hope he actually fixes the Drake issue because I would love Drake on this album, like 50 and Drake. And imagine a 50, Drake, M, and 21 Savage like on one track together. 50, M, Drake, 21 Savage, and they shoot a video like you don't know. Oh yeah, it's over. It's over. I'm telling you right now, I'm losing my fucking mind if that happens. That would be amazing. That would be a great blend and combo that would just be like, yo, this is or J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, 50 and M. Anybody? Come on, man. Or Akon on a hook. Like a We Taking Over type of track. Akon on a hook with a bunch of fucking old and new artists. That needs to happen, man. I'm tired of not having those big records like Forever, like Drake on Forever and Swagger Like Us and those type of records where a bunch of high A-list artists would be on the track together. I miss that. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, man. I hope we get that. I'm going to keep an eye on this, and I'm going to try to reach out to Metro Boomin. Since he's very active on social media, I think I can make it happen. If I reach out on my Instagram with a lot of followers that's on there. So, we'll keep our eye out. Billboard Hot 100, the industry plant, Jack Harlow is still at number one. Actually, he's back at number one with Lovin' On Me, Baby. Oh, that song is so... Cruel Summer, Taylor Swift, number 2. Greedy, Tate McRae, number 3. Lose Control, Teddy Swims, number 4. I Remember Everything, Zach Bryan, number 5. Yes and went from number 1 last week to number 6 down, Ariana Grande. Agora Hills, Doja Cat, number 7. Paint the Town Red, Doja Cat, number 8. SZA Snooze, number 9. And then Red Rum, 21 Savage, number 10. Flo Millie's got a hit on her hands, by the way, with Never Lose Me. That's climbing up the charts. It went from number 37 to number 19, so she's got something there. Rich Baby Daddy, Drake, number 21. Everybody, Nicki Minaj, number 34. Nicki Minaj, FTCU, number 29. 21 Savage, Nina, number 30. Fuck You Mean Gunna, number 32. First Person Shooter, Drake, number 34. JID, Surround Sound, number 41. Usher, Good Good, number 42. Going down, 21 Savage, NHIE, number 52. All of Me, 21 Savage, number 55. Prove It, 21 Savage, number 57. Drake, You Broke My Heart, number 60. 21 Savage, Shoulda Wore a Bonnet, number 63. Drake, I Don't Give a Fuck, number 64. Lil Tecca, 500 Pounds, number 65. Sneaky, 21 Savage, number 71. Dangerous, 21 Savage, number 76. Fiend, Travis Scott, number 77. 21 Savage, Pop Your Shit, number 80. My Eyes, Travis Scott, number 92. Virgin Beach, Drake, number 93. I'll Sit and Don Toliver, Worth It, re-entered at number 95. And I Don't Give a Fuck, T Grizzly, number 98. Red Sky, 21 Savage, number 100. Yeah, a couple of those 21 Savage songs got out the charts. There's always the last ones, though. But yeah, interesting charts. But yeah, that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. You know, stream us Spotify, Deezer, Podcast, YouTube. We officially dried the ink on the sponsorship deal, so that's going to go live February 5th. That's the first episode that the deal is going to go live. Please support me on that wholeheartedly. I'd really appreciate it. Even if you just share a link to it, whatever, whether you purchase it or not, share a link to it. Doesn't anything. Just watch the podcast helps too, liking, as usual. You guys always do. Appreciate you guys. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to this, and peace.